This is Ram Showcase
on Sports War Radio
with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
What is up, Rams fans? Welcome back to another edition of Ram Showcase right here on Sports War Radio. I am your host, Joe Brandon, but you can and should call me Sheriff Joe Bags. Today we do have a special episode for you. It's kind of like an arraignment hearing like we did last year, but instead of doing every game, we are doing them quarterly now. So the Rams' first quarter is in the books, with the final game being that Thursday night football game, Minnesota at Los Angeles. The Rams are now sitting at 4-0, which is nice. You know, it's comforting that the Rams are sitting at 4-0. It's been quite a while since the Rams were 4-0, 2001 to be exact. I did talk about last week on the show that I'm not going to go in every single week and say, oh, the first time since 2001 the Rams are blank and oh, considering the Rams just went 6-0 that year. So up until then, we're just going to kind of, it's just continuing. So we'll see if the Rams can get to 6-0 this year, but right now, Rams sitting at 4-0, 3 games at home, which was pretty cool. The Rams did play the Oakland Raiders on the road week 1, 33-13 win there. Second week, Arizona at Los Angeles, 34-0, and then the Rams put up 35, going up 1 point every single game, hosting the Chargers. And then, of course, Thursday Night Football, Minnesota at Los Angeles, 38-31 win. So basically what I'm going to do for you guys in this episode is we're going to grade the offense, the defense, and the special teams. You guys might be surprised by some of these grades. But, you know, the Rams are having a really strong season, and we will talk about here, there are some segments here where I will give you examples of exactly how well this team is playing right now. We're going to go ahead and start, though, with the special teams. So Greg Zuerlein and Pharoh Cooper both hurt. Those are 2 starters on the Rams special teams. And the Rams are right now, I mean, only for 1 game, really, because JoJo Natson is expected back against Seattle in Week 5. The Rams, in that Minnesota game, on their 4th string kick returner, and that was Blake Countess taking that role. Because Pharoh Cooper number 1, Mike Thomas number 2, and then JoJo Natson came in at that number 3, and Blake Countess being that 4th guy. So some stats for you guys. Johnny Hekker, only 7 punts on the year. He's averaging less than 2 a game, 48.4 average. 1 touchback, 3 inside of the 20. His longest punt went for 62 yards, so solid kicks there for Johnny Hekker. Greg Zuerlein, who is not currently playing because he is hurt, is 4 of 5 on the season. He is expected back. We don't have an exact timetable on when Greg Zuerlein will come back, but he is expected back sooner rather than later. That's why the Rams are currently holding 2 kickers on the 53-man roster. That other kicker being Sam Ficken, who is now 1 for 3 on field goals. So not looking amazing, and I know a lot of fans are really frustrated with Ficken, but my only thing here is just keep in your minds that Ficken is our temporary kicker. He's not going to be around for the long haul. Punt returning, JoJo Natson is your leader. 8 punt returns, 17.8 yards per return average. That's absolutely incredible, and his longest being a 60-yard return. Pharoh Cooper, with 2 returns, 6-yard average. His longest was 12. That means he had 1 of 0 yards. And Cooper Kupp, 1 punt return for 4 yards. On the kick return front, Blake Countess actually your leader right now. 4 kick returns for 104 yards, 26 yards per return on average. His longest being 27. That did come against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Pharoh Cooper has returned 3 for 75. That's a 25-yard average. Pretty easy to calculate. And his longest being a 26-yarder. JoJo Natson has returned 2 for 46 yards. That's 23 average. His longest was 24. And because of the injuries to the Rams special teams, and really only Jake McQuaid and Johnny Hekker being the only starters who are still playing right now for the Rams, with Natson is expected back next week, but with those being the only 2 starters right now, I gave the Rams special team a C-, and a big part of that is Sam Ficken missing some field goals. Greg Zuerlein did miss 1, and of course we're on our 4th kick returner, so really difficult to give them a better grade than a C-, just considering the lack of starters that are playing in that regard. Let's take a look at the offense. The Rams boast one of the top offensive attacks now. For the second straight year, we know what the Rams offense looked like in 2017, and I think they're better this year. I think they're absolutely better. I do still believe that Brandon Cooks is better than Sammy Watkins, and that is an upgrade, and that was the only starter that was changed from 1 year to now. The Rams' lowest scoring output was 33 points in week 1. So far this year, the lowest the Rams have scored is 33 points, which is pretty good. The Rams did average just under 30 for last year, for the 2017 season. Jared Goff is absolutely playing out of his mind. He becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 350 yards, 350 plus, and have a completion percentage of at least 75% in 3 straight games. That is absolutely incredible. No other quarterback in the history of the NFL has done that. He also becomes the first quarterback to have a perfect quarterback passer rating in a game with at least 33 attempts. So Jared Goff obviously went, I believe it was 26 of 33 against the Vikings, and had a perfect passer rating, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's absolutely amazing. One of 5 quarterbacks in NFL history to throw for at least 450 yards, at least 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions in one game. Tom Brady is not one of those, and he is on pace to throw for 5,624 passing yards. The record is 5,477, so he would break that record by almost 200 yards, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Jared Goff having a great year so far. Hopefully he keeps it up. And of course, those numbers are a little bit inflated with that game against the Vikings. But last year, obviously, he only threw for 225 against the Vikings. So I think McVay, Goff, and Gurley, and a lot of these offensive guys who were here last year, which is almost all starters, I think they wanted to really show that they could put up yards and points against the Minnesota Vikings, who are the only team to hold the Sean McVay-led Rams to single-digit points in his reign in Los Angeles. Todd Gurley also having an incredible season. He is on pace for 2,128 all-purpose yards. The NFL record is currently held by Darren Sproles with 2,696. So he is not on pace to break that record, but he's having an absolutely amazing year. I don't think anybody can deny that. And not only getting it done on the ground, absolutely getting it done on the air, through the air as well, as he's becoming a solid target for Jared Goff. Some stats for you guys. Jared Goff, 1,406 passing yards, 72.4 on his completion percentage. And just to kind of give you guys an idea, 72.4 completion percentage, that is equal to what Kurt Warner threw in the 2001 season, as well as 11 touchdowns through 4 games, same as Warner there. 2 interceptions for Goff so far, which is just 1.5 interception percentage. If you guys don't understand interception percentage, basically what's the percentage of when Jared Goff throws the ball, what is the percentage of that ball getting intercepted? 1.5%. Absolutely amazing. And sits right now with a 127.3 QBR. Todd Gurley, 338 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 194 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns there. Your receiving leaders, the Rams do have 3 wide receivers on pace to get 1,000 yards receiving. And let's see, Brandon Cooks, 26 catches, 452 yards, and a touchdown. He is on pace for 1,808, 1,808 yards. The NFL record currently held by Calvin Johnson is 1,964. So Brandon Cooks not on pace for that, but he is close to that. No wide receiver in the NFL. No one's ever gotten 2,000 yards receiving. Cooper Kupp has 24 catches for 348 yards, 4 touchdowns. Robert Woods has 24 catches for 323 yards and 3 touchdowns. I was a little bit surprised. Brandon Cooks, just that one, the lone touchdown. Brandon Cooks not getting those touchdowns yet, but I think that's coming. Team-wise, 105 first downs to just 66 given up to the opponent. 1,874 yards so far. On pace for 7,496 yards. The record set by the Rams, 7,075 yards. So the Rams are on pace to break their own record by over 400 yards. So that's pretty impressive there. 17 touchdowns, on pace to score 68 touchdowns, the NFL record held by the 1970 Miami Dolphins, where they scored 70 touchdowns. So the Rams on pace to just miss out on that record by 2. But overall, I don't think that there's any question this Rams offense is absolutely playing out of their minds. They are the best offense in football. This grade in the first quarter of the Rams offense get an A+. There is no better grade than an A+, obviously. Defense, 4 sacks in the first 3 games, and then 4 sacks alone in the 4th game. So they doubled up their numbers there to bring their season total to 8. The Rams' defense is 23 of 52 on 3rd down, so doing better than that 50% mark, which is awesome. And only 7 touchdowns given up so far to the Rams' offense, scoring 17. So solid there. 2 running touchdowns and 5 passing touchdowns. Rams do have 4 total interceptions. Some stats for you guys. The tackle leaders, Corey Littleton coming out on top in the first quarter, 35 tackles. John Johnson with 31. Ramik Wilson at 24. Marquis Christian at 17. And Lamarcus Joyner at 16 are your top 5. Some sacks for you guys. Donald and Sue both have 2 sacks on the year, which I think is not that much of a surprise if you say that Donald and Sue are leading the Rams in sacks. That does not sound crazy to anybody. John Franklin Myers, Ethan Westbrooks, Samson Ebukam, and Michael Brockers, each with 1 sack on the year. Interceptions, Marcus Peters, Sam Shields, Corey Littleton, and John Johnson each have 1, with Peters getting that interception, that pick 6, against the Oakland Raiders, which was pretty cool stuff. And then Blake Countess does have a touchdown as well. That was a special teams touchdown. Corey Littleton blocked the punt in the end zone, and Blake Countess fell on it against the Chargers. So absolutely incredible there. We know it. We know that this team is extremely talented. And for the Rams to be sitting at 4-0 right now, I don't think anybody is necessarily shocked. I just think we're all real happy. And I don't know about you guys. I'm not saying the whole word just yet. The Rams have not clinched the but I know a lot of other people are talking that the Rams are going to go to the and I just refuse to say those words right now because we're only 4-0. 4-0 is amazing, and I wouldn't want the Rams record to be anything else 4 games into the season, but I'm just kind of tempering myself a little bit, and mainly it's not that I don't think that this team can do amazing things this year. It's just that I'm trying to just live in the moment. The Rams were so bad for so long, and we were all here supporting them. We unwavering Rams fans, and now that this team is actually looking really good, I'm just trying to live in the moment and kind of just breathe it in a little bit. It's been a really long time since the Rams have been a good team like this, so I'm just kind of trying to accept it. For your offense, though, or for your defense, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and give this overall team a B. Okay, so the grade is a B. It could be better. The Rams did give up a whole lot of yardage to the Minnesota Vikings. Other than that, they've been doing a really good job of stopping the opponent. Of course, the Chargers came in when the Rams did play the Chargers went into that game ranked 3rd on offense, and they were not 3rd on offense at the end of the game. So that was pretty cool stuff there. But against the Minnesota Vikings, who not necessarily, they don't have a bad offense by any means, but I did expect them to not let Kirk Cousins throw for 400 yards. So on that regard, the Rams defense, I think we all expected them to be just a little bit better, but I don't think that they're playing bad. So this grouping gets a B. Overall, I don't think that there's really a whole lot of downsides on this Rams team right now. Against the Minnesota Vikings, the Rams did have some injuries in the secondary, and I think a lot of people were kind of worried about that. And, that game really could have gone either way. It was only a 7-point win for the Rams. But overall, I'm giving the team as a whole an A-. So I think that there is room for improvement. I do think that this team can get better. And with some of the injuries, of course, to the kicker and to your kick returner and your number 1 corner and one of your starting middle linebackers, I think that there is room for improvement on this team. But overall, I think an A- is about right. I think that this Rams team is playing extremely well, but I think that there is a little bit of room for improvement. But that is going to go ahead and that's going to do it for the first quarter review, not preview. First quarter review is in the books, and the Rams are sitting at 4-0. Let's see how far we can take this one. And I know I speak on most Rams fans' behalf when I say that this is a very, very special team, and I can't wait for the second quarter to start. 3 road games in the second quarter, so going to be a tough battle at Seattle, at Denver, at San Fran. So for those 3 road games, and those are the next games. So a little bit of a road stretch, but I know I speak on behalf of most Rams fans when I say, let's do this. I'm not really worried. I'm just excited. I just want to watch more Rams games. So thank you guys for checking out the podcast/YouTube video with me. And make sure you guys subscribe anywhere you hear Rams Showcase. We're all over the place, YouTube, Facebook, anything. Make sure you guys subscribe on Facebook, facebook.com/Rams Showcase, facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags, and Instagram and Twitter, both at Rams Showcase and at Sheriff Joe Bags. That is going to do it for me on this special episode. For those of you that aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you that are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night. For those of you on the YouTube channel, make sure you guys scroll down just a little bit and subscribe and click that bell so you can get the notifications. Thanks for checking it out, guys.